So today we are going to discuss about the women and reforms. So especially this women and reforms which took place in the Bengal region and the Maharashtra. Okay, so what kind of changes were there? What kind of reforms have been done in the Bengal region and the Maharashtra region? So that we will be discussing. In the earlier class, we have discussed that there were different kind of social evils which we had in our country, and sati prata which we have, and the child marriages and the parda system, and the lack of women education, the dowry system. So these all were the female infanticide. These all are the social evils which we had in our country, and where our Indian society, especially the Hindu society, which were following these all the social evils in our country, and which were not at all acceptable by the society. Even in the even in the present days also we can find some of the social evils we are following. But compared to the present days, in those days, in during the 18th century, 19th century, even the before that, the situations were very bad. Like women treated very badly by the society, and it was a men dominated society we could see in the earlier days. So to to remove such kind of social evils from the society, it was not happened in a single day. Years and years, the people fought. The educated people of the Indian society fought against the social evils. And like, who were the reformers? Who changed the society? Who changed the women fate in the society? So we are going to discuss in this class. So first, uh, uh, let us discuss about the reforming the position of the women. With the spread of education, new social class, which was liberal in outlook, came into being. It drew its inspiration from intellectual currents prevalent in the rest of the world. 19th century Bengal went through the process of great format. Out of this turmoil, many social and religious reforms emerged, which were led by Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Keshav Chandra Sen, Swami Vivekananda. Like, there were so many social reformers who removed the social evils from the society. So let us discuss about the different social reformers who changed the society in the 19th century. So first, let us discuss about the social reformer Raja Ram Mohan Rai, and he also will be called as the father of modern India. Raja Ram Mohan Rai also will be called as the father of modern India. And let us explore more about Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Raja Ram Mohan Rai was born on 22nd May 1772 in Bengal. Okay, and he was a social reformer and linguistic educationalist and journalist. He has learned the different kind of the languages. Okay, and he was an educationalist, very educated person, and also he wrote so many kind of articles also about these the social evils which were there in our country. And he was a pioneer of introducing reforms to improve the position of women in the society. The Rajaram Mohan Rai's main motive was to, change the position of the women in the society. After receiving traditional education, he came into contact with English. So when he has completed his traditional education from the Indian side, he came in contact with the English people, because at that time in our country, the English people, the British people were ruling. So he came to contact with the English people, and he had a burning desire to reform society through his Brahmo Samaj. He established one organization in 1828, that is Brahmo Samaj, and through that he wants to reform the society, especially regarding women. And most of the social evils prevalent in the society at the time were the direct outcome of superstitions, beliefs. He struggled to away with the customs of sati. So the superstitions, the bad things which we are following in the society, especially coming to sati system, where a wife should sacrifice her life for the husband in his funeral pyre. The wife, when she is alive, she has to sacrifice her life, which was a very very bad practice which we have in our country. And especially Raja Ram Mohan Rai wanted to remove the sati system in our country through the help of the Brahmo Samaj, which was established in 1828. And he himself saw how his a Babi, means his sister-in-law, wife of elder brother, was forced to commit sati, and how his custom prevailed in the society. So why Rajaram Mohan Rai wanted to remove this sati system from the society? Because even he has seen this situation in his family. His sister-in-law, means his brother's wife, was forced to die, was forced in the sati system, means she has forced to sacrifice her life along with her husband. So do that, he has seen that situation, how difficult it is for a woman. A practical situation was seen by Raja Ram Mohan Rai in his life. So due to that reason, he put his efforts, that situation made Raja Ram Mohan Rai to change the sati system, to remove the sati system from the society. And finally, he contacted with the Lord William Bentinck to remove the sati system from India, and William Bentinck passed a law by which sati was declared an illegal practice in 1829. So within the 1 year of Brahmo Samaj establishment, Rajaram Mohan Rai was contacted with the British Governor General Lord William Bentinck to remove the sati system. And even Lord William Bentinck also, he passed a law that if anybody is practicing sati system in the society, so that comes under the offense. That's an illegal work which is like liable for the punishment. And this law was passed in 1829 by William Bentinck. So from then onwards, the sati system was stopped in our country. The practice of sati system was stopped in our country from 1829 with the great efforts of the Raja Ram Mohan Rai. So that's why he will be called as the father of modern India, where we used to have a different kind of culture in our country. But when Rajaram Mohan Rai started reforming the, society, started removing the evils from the society, so that is the reason Rajaram Mohan Rai will be called as the father of modern India. And the next social reformer, which we will be discussing about, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. So let us discuss about Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. So Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, he born on September 26, 1820. And in 1841, he became the head of the Department of Sanskrit at Fort William College, which is in Calcutta. And in 1846, he joined Calcutta Sanskrit College as assistant secretary. In 1856, he proposed widow remarriages. Okay, so his main intention was the widow remarriage, because the, the children at the age of 10, at the age of 11, 12, the children were getting married with the old men. So as early these children, these girls were becoming the widows. So these kind of system should be removed from the society. So for that reason, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was, played an important role in the society to remove the these child marriages as well. He promoted the remarriages in the society. Being as a great scholar of Sanskrit, he was conferred the title of Vidyasagar. His title was Vidyasagar. Vidyasagar means, education of ocean. He was he was a very good in his uh, uh, content, and for that regard he got a title that Vidyasagar. Vidyasagar, it's a Sanskrit word. Vidyasagar in the sense this education of ocean. So he got that title because he was a great scholar in the Calcutta William Ford University. And by the authorities of the Sanskrit College Calcutta, now we are calling as Kolkata, widow upliftment and education for girls were his main aims. So with Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, his main aim was widow remarriages, and also girl education is also very important in the society. So these were the two proposals which was proposed by the Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, and the widows were in a pitiable state. He took personal interest in passing the Widow Remarriages Act. He was so uh, compassionate about widows that he got his own son married to a widow. So like not only giving speeches to the people, Ishwari Chandra Vidyasagar implemented this widow remarriage system from his home. He had married a widow to his son. That means practical situation has been shown to the society. Widow remarriages are possible. The girls can be married again. Those who are early married children, those who got widow very early in a very young age, so those children can be married. Nowadays this widow remarriages also we have in the practice in the present days of the society. So the main motive of the Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was widow remarriages as well as the girl education. These two were the main important aims of Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. And now let us discuss one more social reformer, Swami Vivekananda. And Swami Vivekananda born on 12th January 1863, and he was disciple of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And disciple means a great student of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And in 1893 he participated in the parliamentary of the world religion in Chicago. And in 1897 he founded a Ramakrishna mission, and he died in 1902. So this is the biography of Swami Vivekananda. And next, let us see what kind of social reform he has done for the society. And Swami Vivekananda's original name was Narendranath. Okay, he founded Ramakrishna Mission in 1897. And to reform the society in many ways, he emphasized on social service and respect for women, while he severely opposed untouchability. So his main aim was to change the society and to give respect to the women. And not only that, he wants to remove the untouchability from the society. So these were the main intention of the social reformer Swami Vivekananda. And he had an Anglo-Irish friend. Swami Vivekananda had an Anglo-Irish disciple called Sister Nivedita. Her name is Sister Nivedita. She was the disciple of Swami Vivekananda, and she was promoting the women education in the different in the country, and she was promoting the women upliftment in the society. And when Swami Vivekananda asked Sister Nivedita to come and serve in India, even she established the girls' schools in our country too, in Bagh Bazar in Calcutta, she established the schools for the girls in India, and she fought for the empowerment of women of all caste, creed, and this background. She wanted to, give the equality to the women in the society, and the opportunities should be given to the women in the society. So, along with Swami Vivekananda, even Sister Nivedita also, she worked for the upliftment of the women in the Indian society. And next social reformer we have is Keshav Chandra Sen. So he is also from the Bengal region. So what was the intention of Keshav Chandra Sen? So let us see. Keshav Chandra Sen laid stress on social reforms such as women education, intercaste marriages, and widow remarriages. So Keshav Chandra Sen's main intention was women education and also widow remarriages and intercaste marriages. Intercaste marriages in the sense the girl and boy, the caste will be different caste. So different caste also can be married. So this was the intention. Means in the society there was caste system was prevailing more in the society. So to remove the caste system, he proposed the intercaste marriages and widow remarriages as well as the women education. So these three were the proposals of the Keshav Chandra Sen. And he was also against the social evils like child marriage, polygamy, and casteism. So Keshav Chandra Sen was also against for the child marriages and also polygamy. Polygamy means the husband is having more than one wife. So he was against for that also, and casteism, the caste system which we were following in the society. Even he was against to the casteism also, and he wanted to abolish these all kind of social evils from the society. So he established the organization to remove these all social evils from the society. So through that, the organization which was established by Keshav Chandra Sen was Brahmo Bandhu. Bandhu in the sense relative. It's nothing but the meaning Bandhu in the sense relative. Right? So he established one of the organization for the society, and that was Brahmo Bandhu Sabha, which was established in 1863, and he started a struggle in favor of women education. So through this Brahmo Bandhu Sabha, he started a kind of reformation on the women education, and he was instrumental in passing the Native Marriage Act in 1872, which legalized intercaste marriage, widow remarriage, prohibited child marriage, and polygamy. So he passed one act in 1872. He promoted one act in 1872. Under that act in the sense nothing but a law, he proposed one law which was accepted by the government later on, and that under that law intercaste marriages were acceptable and widow remarriages can be done, and prohibited the child marriages. If anybody is committing with the child marriages, so it comes under the offense. And also the polygamy system was also banned under this 1872 Marriage Act. And next we have from Maharashtra region, next we have Dayananda Saraswati, Swami Dayananda Saraswati. He was also one of the social reformer which we can see in the Maharashtra region. From the Bengal, this reform movement spread to the rest of India. Here we will discuss how this movement had spread towards the west, especially focusing on Maharashtra. See, Bengal is in the east direction, and this movement, this reform movement spread to the west direction, which is in the Maharashtra. So how this reform movement spread to the Maharashtra region. And let us see about that. So in the Maharashtra, so the other social reformer was Prathana Samaj. Prathana Samaj. One of the chief reforms of Prathana Samaj was Mahadev Govind Ranade. So he was also one of the social reformer in the Maharashtra. With the help of his followers, he founded the Deccan Education Society and established a college to provide Western education in the society. So his intention was Mahadev Govind Ranade's intention was to provide the Western education for the people of the Maharashtra. He also worked to reform the position of women in the society and support widow remarriages. He founded the Widow Marriage Association also for the widow remarriages purpose. He also founded the Widow Remarriages Association also, and not only that, he promoted the widow remarriages also. And next, coming to Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Swami Dayananda Saraswati, he born on in 1824. At the age of 22, he became sannyasi, that means saint. And in 1875, he founded Arya Samaj. And in 1877, a branch of Arya Samaj opened in Lahore. And religious text means Satyarat Prakash, and he died in 1883. Swami Dayananda Saraswati died in 1883. So what was the promotions of Swami Dayananda Saraswati? So let us see. Swami Dayananda Saraswati was the founder of Arya Samaj. It was founded in 1875, and another branch was opened at Lahore in 1877. Arya Samaj brought about a number of social reforms to uplift the position of women and their education. Some of these reforms were, it resulted in the decline of the social evil practice of sati. So through the Arya Samaj, Swami Dayananda Saraswati, he wanted to remove the sati pratha system from the society, and also he advocated the widow remarriages. That means he proposed the widow remarriages also, and he was greatly opposed the child marriages. So what were the child marriage system we had in our country? So that child marriage system was opposed by the Swami Dayananda Saraswati, and he set up orphanages and widow ashramas where the widow was treating very badly in the society. For that widows, Swami Dayananda Saraswati, he established the orphanages for the women. I mean, the women widow ashramas were established by Dayananda Saraswati for the widows especially. And the Arya Samaj laid a great emphasis on women education. And Swami Dayananda believed that women were as much entitled the study of Vedas as men. So, as per Swami Dayananda, the women also can be educated. So now let us see the women social reformers also we had in our society in the early days. So let us see the among the women social reformers, one of the Muslim social reformers. She is from the Muslim religion, and her name is Rokeya Sakawat Hussain. So she was the social reformer. So she also promoted the women education, girl education. She Rokeya Sakawat Hussain, she promoted the girl education in the society. So initially, Rokeya Sakawat Hussain also, she faced a lot of problem in her life for the education because she was a girl. She was not allowed for the education. So initially, she also suffered the problem for the education. So what happened? She requested the brother to teach Urdu language, Persian language, Bengali language, and English language. Okay, the brother who studied, brother explained Urdu, English, Bengali language and Sanskrit language to Rokeya Sakawat Hussain. She didn't go to school, but she has learned from her brother. And later on, she married this Rokeya was married to Khan Bahadur Shakawat Hussain in 1896, and her husband was the deputy magistrate of the Bhagalpur in Calcutta. So, sorry, in Bihar region. So he was a magistrate. Rokeya's husband was the magistrate, means judge. He was working as a deputy judge in the district of Indian state of Bihar. Okay, and Bhagalpur, it is a district of the Bihar, and he was very cooperative with the Rokeya Sakawat Hussain, and he always helped her in her writing of the poets, writing of the journals, writing of the articles. Rokeya's husband helped a lot to her, and where she continued her activities also. And when her husband death when the Rokeya Sakawat husband was died, and she established the school also on his husband name, Shekawat Memorial Girls School, which was established by Rokeya Sakawat Hussain. And later this school again transferred as the government school. Presently this school they are using as the government school, but she wrote a number of short stories and essays regarding the prevalent of the the upliftment of the women in the society. And her most famous novel was uh, Padarog. Okay, so this was the most famous novel of Rokeya Shakawat Hussain, that is Padarog, was published in 1924. This was her most famous novel, and which uh, portrayed the real lines of working women. So in this Padarog novel, she promoted the working women situations were promoted in this novel, and her column in and also she opposed the Parda system also in the society. And the next women social reformer we have is Pandit Ramabai Saraswati. And Pandit Ramabai Saraswati was the founder of the Arya Mahila Samaj. Okay, and through this she taught the women of the deprived classes, means the low caste, low category people. She went to America, where an association was formed in America to find schools for child widows in our country. Means she went for the higher studies. She went to the America to find out the situations of the women in America, and she wanted to implement that kind of culture in our country. So for that, Pandit Ramabai Saraswati, she went to America to find the situations of the women in America, and after coming to India, she established the schools for the child widows in the sense that at very early age, who lost their husband, so those will becomes under the child widows. And the next women social reformer we have is Leela Nag. Okay, Leela Nag played a prominent role in women movements in the East Bengal region, and she set up one of the school called as the Deepali Sangha. This was the school which was established. Through this, she promoted the women education in 1923. She also founded a school named Deepali School, and 12 other cost-free primary schools were also established by Leela Nag in Bengal region. And she was also the founder of the Mahila Atmaraksha Fund. So she established one of the foundation for the women, and that foundation name is Mahila Atmaraksha Fund. So this is to safeguard the women from the attacks, any kind of attacks. So through these, the women can be protected from the Mahila Atmaraksha Fund. And She also established an institution known as Ganashiksha Parishad for spreading female education. To promote the female education, she also established one more institution called as Ganashiksha Parishad, and and also her literary activities as an editor of an influential magazine, Jayashri. So she had written the articles also in one of the magazine, and that magazine name is called the Jayashri. And these all were devoted to the women issue. So this Jayashri, as it was named as a woman, and whatever the articles were written in this magazine, these all were devoted to the women in this magazine. And what was the impact of the reform movement in our country? So as a result of the reform movement amongst the women, East India Company initiated some useful social reforms in India during the period between 1813 to 1857. So during the period of 1813 to 1857, with the help of the East India Company, there were so many social reforms in our country. Along with our Indian educators, Indian social reformers, as well the British East India Company, these both people together, they have banned the social evils from our country. And the suppression of sati. The sati system was banned in 1829 from our country. Nearly 800 people faced this sati system in our country. That means 800 people, they have lost their life under the sati practice in our country. And it is estimated that during 1815 to 1818, between these 3 years, there were 800 cases of sati in Bengal alone. Only in the Bengal region, between the 3 years, 800 people, they have died under the sati practice. In 1829, moved by a public autocracy led by Raja Ram Mohan Rai, against this illegal practice, Governor General Lord William Bentinck abolished the sati and made it as a punishable offense. So finally, Lord William Bentinck, he passed a law that if anybody in the society are practicing the sati system, this will be a punishable offense, and which was removed in the Bengal in 1829 with the help of the Raja Ram Mohan Rai and Lord William Bentinck. These two people have banned the sati system from our country in 1829. And ban of female infanticide. The British government passed Act in 1795 and again in 1804 to ban the female infanticide. This practice also they made as a offense. If anybody is doing this, female infanticide, that is also punishable offense, which was declared by the British government. And Marriage Act, which was introduced, which was implemented in 1860, government passed an act to fix the minimum age of girls and boys. For girls, it fixed in 1929, the British government fixed the minimum marriage age for girls is 14 years and minimum marriage age for boys is 16 years. And the widow remarriage system also, with the help of the Rajaram Mohan Rai and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, combined in favor of widow remarriages. It was finally in 1856 that the colonial government passed an act following Hindu widows to remarry. So in 1856, the British government passed a law that the Hindu widows again can marry in the society. And today also, still widow remarriage system is going on even in the present society also. These contributions made by the social reforms to reform the society can never be ignored while studying the history of the modern India. So this is not the ignoring situations in the India. So these were the social reformers who reformed the society, and presently we are surviving with the help of the social reformer. Means otherwise, still maybe these social evils may continue in the society.